How are you guys enjoying it being podcasters, podcasters?
I'm going to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Are you taking your computer with you? Oh, yes. Clearly he is. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, just go on mute.
Respect.
Well, it's also gross.
Oh, my God, I can hear the stream.
Well, that's like when you thought my boxed wine was me just peeing, which is rude.
Right. Apparently, so a buddy of mine works in finance, and he was on like a big Zoom call with like a client, and the client like took the computer into the bathroom and started pissing and had like a huge like roaring Niagara Falls level stream.
Awesome.
And somebody was like, "Oh, Dan, I think you might put yourself on mute." And Dan was like, "No, I'm good." It was like an alpha
I want you to
move.
know.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
clearly
so
an alpha
bad.
move to be like,
what?
To be like, yeah, like my fucking dick is hanging.
This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
Hey, yo, I'm Trey Kerby here finally on Throwing Fits. You asked for me, you got me. Pony up, baby. Put that money in the Patreon and let's go crazy.
All right, Trey, as you know, the three main subjects of this podcast, the only podcast that matters, are money,
Ching.
and most importantly,
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah, just us. The goddamn motherfucking boys.
All right, so let's start off with the most important subject, which is ourselves, clearly. Lawrence and I, and to a lesser extent, Chuck, we have aspirations to become full-time podcasters. You're longtime big gangs. You've seen us kind of, glow up from primordial ooze to whatever the fuck we are now. What are we not doing that we should be on this journey to becoming full-time podders?
Superstars.
Do more.
What?
That's always the answer, man. That's always the answer. People would listen to you guys talk every single day.
Dude, a guy unsubscribed from our Patreon because he said we were making too much content and he didn't like the pace. He liked the old pace.
People say that, but more people don't care. More people, it's always there. And that's the other thing too, right? Is like, it does seem like it's a lot of content, but you can listen to it whenever you want to. People would 100% listen to you guys every single day.
Every single day.
That's too much.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
That's too much, Trey.
But you guys are also doing it a different way, in a way that I think is awesome, and just something that kind of came about after we had made it as a podcast, because the independent route is awesome. And like, you guys are actually getting to call the shots 100% on what you're doing. I think that's huge. But that's kind of always my answer, is like, just do more. I mean, we've talked already about like Chuck's IG Live. Like, I think that's great. That's another avenue. Do more also, I guess, would entail like in video, right? Like, people would watch this. People would watch this Zoom, no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys got beautiful faces. People want to see your faces, especially since they already know what you look like.
Well, one of us has a beautiful face. I was going to say, like, is there any way we can make it rich while doing less?
Ooh, yeah. See, I mean, that's what I want to do too.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
No one, it's weird. Like, everyone wants to know, but there seems to be no answer. Eventually it'll show itself, I feel like.
Well, all right, Trey. So let's fill you in on kind of the current situation. So Lawrence and I, and to a lesser extent, but actually not at all, Chuck, we're about to sign with a major talent agency. We're going to hit the road. We're going to become stars. Like, the fame is going to come. So my question to you, as a famous podcaster, what's the first piece of advice you give to us on dealing with fame, if not notoriety?
Oh, you guys are already good at being famous. I don't think you need any tips. You guys were built to be famous.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm always like pass my fucking social security number out. I'm always inviting Throw Gang back to the crib to come do drugs and shit. Like, should I keep doing that?
And we're being like, yo, film that. This will be sick on Twitter. Film that.
Perfect. The more the merrier, right? Like, just go crazy with it. Really embrace the fandom side of it and bring them in. To deal with fame, I guess you would have to have fame. For me, it's like I would still be happy like when people recognize me, because it's like, hey, people recognize me. That's cool. I'm still excited that you actually know who I am. So for me, it always feels like it just feels reaffirming that like, oh, real people out there like what you're doing. So I mean, enjoy it, I would say.
On an average day, how often do you get recognized on an average day? But pre-quarantine.
100% of the days I go to an airport, and then maybe 1% of the days outside of an airport.
And so what are people doing? They're asking for selfies. They're asking for like
the selfie
videos,
is the autograph these days, right? Like just take a selfie. I'll tag you on the gram. I'll tag you on Twitter. That's what it generally is.
Do you feel pressured to like be fitted or like not be a fucking asshole while out in public these days?
Yes, 100%. Like, I think it was one of the dudes from The Strokes said, like, I always want to dress like I'm on stage, right? And that's, to me, it's like when you're out, it's almost a performance. It's like, you don't know who's going to stop you and take a picture. You want to look as cool as you think you look.
Yo, shout out my boy fucking Sham. He knows. You always got to be fitted like a member of The Strokes at all points and all times of your fucking life. You never.
We're hoping that Sham can tap in later. I mean, so like you clearly have like a level of fame that we have not unlocked yet. So listen, like we are going to continue asking you how to be famous when the time comes for us.
Yes, please.
Please no longer
please spirit guide us is what we're saying.
I don't know. I don't think we're on completely different levels.
I don't get recognized 100% of the time in the airport.
Well, that's because you didn't have a TV show that was just always on an airport. It's like we had like a sports TV show that would just be on at like the local sports bar in an airport, right? So it's like
you guys were airport
Larry's peeing in the fridge again.
Yeah, sorry. I need more podcasts.
But like you guys are in New York. You guys are notable in the New York media world. You're elites. So I mean, I think that's also a little bit different sort of clout, right? Than being somebody who gets recognized in an airport just because you happen to be around.
They're both good. They're both good, to be honest.
But it's different.
It's clout. It's all clout by any other name, right?
What's the most annoying thing fans do when they recognize you? Is they're like, "Yo, man, like let's do a shot," and you're like, "Bro, it's 8 a.m. in fucking the Atlanta airport. Like, relax."
Lingering. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like some people just will assume that you can remember every single thing you've said. And I think that can be tough. Sometimes it's like, man, you really are a fan of this show. I did probably say that at one point, but I'm not 100% sure. But to me, it's like so rarely that it would even happen that I was like, it's never something that I'm worried about. Like I love to talk to people who are fans of the show or who know what we've been doing or anything like that, because I'm like, it means we're actually connecting with people. Great.
All right, Lawrence, remember when, be prepared for when fans come to you and go, hey, remember when he said cunt? That was crazy.
No, people will remember the craziest inside jokes from the longest time. People will remember things you said 6 years ago, and you'll be like,
it would be like, remember when you said like Clark's Wallabies highs are bad and that you should only get mids? Well, like, and it's like, I hate you so much, dude.
Yeah, shut
like
up.
That. Yeah.
All right, Trey. Like us, you are a veteran of stumbling and bumbling and losing your intellectual property.
That's tough. It's tough. We're on name number 4, you know?
Why does that keep happening to you guys?
Well, I think it was just a case of kind of getting into media without necessarily having the business plan planned out, right? Like we started podcasting. The podcast started 2006 and they got bought
early.
They started 2006. I joined up in 2010 and then it was bought by a network in Canada in like 2011. So that's kind of how that went. And it just was like a very quick sort of thing, right? Where you're like, wow, this is amazing to turn a podcast into a TV show. Sure. That's awesome. Let's sign up. And then that kind of just continued. And then things happened how they happened. We didn't get renewed ultimately at Turner, and we just hadn't planned it through at that point because we didn't know any better than to plan through. And once you go through it enough times, you're like, I'm in.